All right, so what does everybody think about the Ricky Gervais controversial monologue on the Golden Globes?
Controversial.
I think you should start.
I loved it. I was watching it with the family, and I was pumping my fist in the air as if I was watching a football game. I knew he was going to do some kind of roasting, and the Golden Globes are much looser than the Academy Awards, which are a little more uptight and sort of hoity-toity. But I didn't know he was going to go everywhere that he went, which was just wonderful. I thought it was just awesome. And he said so much so fast that I think a lot of people probably do need to watch it again to catch some of it, because there's a few different things, a few different references there that some people might not have all understood. But he was great, and there is sort of a limousine liberal attitude out there in Hollywood that I think a lot of America's sick of. You know, some people still bow to it and adore it as their idol worship. For me personally, I have a love-hate thing for Hollywood. I don't know what to say. I do. I have a love-hate thing. I mean, when they make great movies, it is very special. It's a special thing. Yeah. And I don't know about any of you, but I love being taken away, going to a movie theater, being taken away for an hour and a half, 2 hours into some other world.
Well, that's what they're meant for. They're meant for, to get you away from reality. And, but I just feel like today with, pulling up all these sequels or remakes that they really don't need to, ruin. They're ruining the old classics.
Yeah.
It's like they ran out of fresh ideas. Like, you can't come up with a new idea. You gotta, let's remake this one.
Yeah.
Right. I heard they were going to remake The Warriors, and that's something I'm a little bummed out about, because The Warriors is a great classic film.
You're talking about the New York City gang movie, late 70s.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm surprised it hasn't been done already, to be honest with you.
I read something about a couple months ago where they said they're going to remake it, and I was like, dude, it's either got to be really, really good, or it's got to just be complete crap.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm almost expecting for it,
Just like Cats.
I mean, I've heard there's a lot of bad reviews. I've never watched Cats. It's like a family disease. Like I can't stand musicals. So that's why I just never. No, well, if you ask anybody in my family, it's like they like musicals. No, if I want to watch a music video, watch a music video. If I want to watch a movie, I want to watch a movie. That's it.
Yeah.
So that's
Don't
take
mix.
I mean, but then again, with today's costumes and CGI, I mean, I bet they looked really weird. Or really awesome.
I'm sure it was a good mix.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, I think there's some remakes that were really good. Like Godzilla, like the Godzilla movies were one that I think some of the remakes are good, some of them are
The most
flop.
recent one was amazing.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that one. I don't think the one with 2000, that one was like okay.
I think it was, or was it 99? The gray like
where they looked like they laid eggs underneath New York City.
Yeah. That was not Godzilla. That was something else.
Yeah.
That was shitty. So, but to your point too, with like bad remakes, it's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was like stupid. It was really stupid,
Yeah.
But Michael Bay did the Transformer ones, and I thought the Transformer ones were great. It is. I think sometimes some of these older movies being redone, it goes well, but for the most part, I would agree it's not. They do flip.
Right.
So
it's like they didn't have to remake Point Break or any all that.
Yeah.
Like Point Break was, it's a classic, but it wasn't that great of a movie. I mean, unless.
Or what's out now? Like they got Doolittle and Bad Boys.
Oh, that's right.
Life.
Well, Bad Boys is just it's not a sequel, but it's
The fifth one?
Is it the fifth one? I don't know.
Something like that.
It's like Scorcher 6. Yeah. Exactly.
Mission Impossible 19.
Yeah. But back to Ricky Gervais. I mean, he was just wow. He really gave them all a little something there. And I just want to say overall, whether people like Ricky Gervais or not, or the other people, I thought it was just a great night for free speech.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. I actually took some notes too. And I said it was very important to be so truthful on TV because media is kind of like brainwashing in a way. We all think a certain way about it, but I think it was just really important for him to kind of say everything in front of all those celebrities and be so, blunt about it. So it was really cool to see.
Yeah, it was cool because he was like, I don't care who you are, we're all people. And
Yeah.
if you guys are idiots, like, I don't give a shit what movie you're in, and I respect that because I don't give a fuck.
I love how we call cats. Like, I don't know. This whole cats thing has been like, why? You know, like, why are you eating cats? And I just love how he called it out. It was great.
And he used the word pussy twice, so
Yeah.
good entertainment.
Yeah.
No, it was awesome for him to just go out and just. I like the fact that it was like a roast. You know.
Yeah.
I think people listen a little bit more when it is just all about jokes and cracking. You know, they hear the underlying message compared to like if someone came out and be like, please, you know, look at this or save the whales. You know.
Yeah.
Make a bunch of jokes about it and they'd be like, you know what, that is fucked up. We need to really actually pay attention to this shit. So.
And comedians are always super political like that, but it's funny, and you're not gonna get mad about it, and you're not gonna whatever because there's a joke, and let's just laugh about it. Quit taking life so seriously.
Yeah.
I think there really is something to when you said about free speech, kind of hit it on the head, and comedians in general is it's kind of like comedians in their own way, in their own art form, are like digging for the truth, and I think we laugh at things because they're true. Yeah. You know, we laugh more at things that are the truer they are. You know, and so I think that was just a great comedian. You know.
Yeah,
and we're doing a great job in his craft. You know, he did a great job there.
Gervais is awesome.
Yeah, that was a mic drop.
Yeah,
mic drop. Like, bam, bitches for that.
Yeah.
I loved seeing Tom Hanks's face. Like after he finished,
he
he was
seemed
just like,
uncomfortable.
Yeah. Like, some people are like, "Oh my gosh, did he just say that?"
All the cuts to everyone's faces, you know, and when he's getting them, you know, like the Pope thing, the guy's just like,
Yeah.
He's just like a
Cringe.
like, you know,
shaking his head.
That was great.
Yeah. I like the call out for like the big companies like Apple and Amazon. I thought that was really cool that he called them out.
I was surprised.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
I thought that was
When you're talking about brainwashing, I mean, that's part of the companies that are helping, you know, brainwash with all this, you know, stuff, especially with, you know, Amazon coming out with like, you know, with the Prime and now with like the new grocery Prime and all this.
Right. You never have to leave your house.
Yeah, exactly.
Just stay inside, fat man.
Yeah.
Stay inside. Don't move.
There's
Don't
actually
move.
there's
TV, movies.
There's
food,
a bit that Tom
everything.
Segura does on his Disgraceful stand-up. Super hilarious. You gotta watch. Yeah, you gotta watch it. He's talking about like the beds that help you lift up, but then there's also like a toilet in it. So he's like, what he's saying is, that was a great one.
I love how he said if ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's true though.
You think you're woke? That was
how far away
right?
are they from that though? You know what I mean? I don't think they could be. Could be something that could be based off of, you know, maybe Iran might help them out with it.
Now, the Ronan Farrow reference, I just want to, because that's one of those things he threw in there really fast. And I don't know if I think those people in that room caught it, but I don't know if everybody else caught it, even the people, a lot of people at home caught it. So Ronan Farrow, in and of himself, is a whole conspiracy topic, which we could get into really quick. But you see, he is Mia Farrow's son, and he has a book out now, or he's been investigating Harvey Weinstein, who is now, I believe, been doing a court case, I think, in New York for rape charges or some really bad
sexual harassment,
all kinds of stuff, really bad stuff. So that was that reference that when he threw that out, then he said Ronan Farrow's coming after all of you or whatever. He said something that was great. Ronan Farrow, just really quick, maybe that could almost be another topic for another day. That's a very bizarre thing. The guy just needs to get together with some people and, okay, come on. Are you Frank Sinatra's kid or aren't you? So long story short, just really quick. So Mia Farrow, actress, was married to Frank Sinatra at one point in time. She gets divorced and she ends up marrying Woody Allen of all people. I don't know how you go from Frank Sinatra to Woody Allen, but that's a whole nother topic. Okay? Anyway, there's allegations, and then Frank remarries as well, and there's allegations that Woody and Mia were on the outs. Anyway, one thing is very clear looking at Ronan Farrow. I don't need to do a genealogy test, but Woody Allen is definitely not his father.
You are not the father.
You are not the father.
Get Maury involved in this.
And exactly, this is totally a Maury type thing, and he does look a lot like Frank Sinatra. So, for a guy who's doing investigative journalism, he really needs to just come clean and get a genealogy test. And some of Frank Sinatra's children are still alive, so that you could have this done very easily.
Yeah.
To confirm this anyway. So Frank's gone, but anyway. So Ronan Farrow, yeah, he's going after Harvey Weinstein. A lot of those people in that room, the Golden Globes, connected to Harvey Weinstein. So
I actually watched a YouTube video that was the Golden Globes, and might have been like the Oscars too and everything, but it was a series of people winning awards and thanking Harvey Weinstein.
Oh yeah.
But it was also some of them like were throwing jabs at him too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was kind of like they were like, it was hard to work with them, but it was very interesting to go through and see how many actors and actresses like knew who he was and thanked him specifically or made some sort of jab at him publicly. It was very interesting to see that, because going back to now all these allegations coming out, it's like, well, yeah, how many people did he do that, use his power to do this kind of stuff with, you know? So,
Oh, lots. I mean, I definitely.
well, right, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's like
It's
this
not-
guy was.
it's- yeah. You're a man in a position of power, and you get all these women that come in. I mean, it's. I wouldn't put it past my mind twice that he's done it, all of it. I mean, like if you ask even like, geez, I'm out of brain fart, but even like the Meryl Streep and whatnot. I think someone came out recently where they said they actually went through like a casting couch thing when they first started, and it was starting for an actual movie, not this whole porn thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad, like how, I mean, if you think about it, like in the porn industry, casting couch actually derived from actual movie, like serious part roles for females for actual movies, and it wasn't for, pornography.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad. It's kind of sad to see.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's just taking advantage of young people. I mean, in this day and age, it's probably not just women anymore. It could be men or
Yeah, people are hungry though, and they know
Well,
that. Like we can get you to do anything.
Think about it. I mean, the whole world's a house of wolves. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
I think some of it.
Jeffrey Epstein too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like him being a man of power and getting away with all that kind of stuff.
Well, I was listening to, I forget who I was listening to, but I was listening to a few different podcasts, and they were kind of talking about how Jeffrey Epstein was kind of like that guy who was trying to be popular, and there are these people who kind of sit in rooms like the Golden Globes, and they're not actors, and they're not actresses, and they're not famous people. But, their dads were rich, and they're like trust fund babies, and they have all this money. And what would you do if you were a millionaire right now or a billionaire right now? What would you do? You wouldn't be sitting here doing this. You'd be going hanging out with like your favorite famous people, right? So he was kind of like one of those guys. He was one of those guys. And one of his plays, they were trying to say that one of his plays into hanging out with people like, Leonardo DiCaprio and Bill Clinton and Trump, all these kind of people, right? Was that, he would be the guy that at these fancy parties would be talking, be like, come up behind you, put his arm around your shoulder, talk to your wife, turn around and be like, I got this 16-year-old pussy in the back. Let's go. You know what I mean? Let's go do something. And it's like disgusting stuff. And I forget who it was. He's a comedian that's on the Joe Rogan podcast often. But he's somebody who claims to have been in similar situations, and he doesn't like those kind of guys. But he remembers Jeffrey Epstein being one of those guys. So.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, how do you come across doing that? I mean, there's like, I don't even know.
I think it might be something like, absolute power corrupts absolutely. I think a part of it is that. I mean, think about like the worst thoughts in your head. You know what I mean? And now hand you $1 billion. How long is it going to take for you to devolve into those worst thoughts?
So this just popped in my head, but I remember there's actually, we should look it up and probably talk about it as another topic, but there was a French reporter who interviewed Macaulay Culkin. He's talking about when he was younger, how there's people in higher positions where they would do weird things to child stars. Like, I guess he was sitting in this room with this guy for some sort of movie production or something, but he was talking about, I think it was the girl who was in, what was the movie where she gets lost in the TV? And it's the Poltergeist.
Okay.
And the guy I was talking to was being really weird about it, but then he pointed at his shoes, and he's like, that's her. And like, there's this like weird like thing where there's like Macaulay Culkin was saying like there's an underground thing of like rich people that do effed up things to like child stars, like eventually kill them off and like wear them, make wallets out of them or shoes. I don't know. This is something that
oh jeez, oh god,
yeah, this is like no. I mean, like We should look it up. Definitely look it up for another topic. But I mean, it just popped in my head right now, and I totally forgot. I think that would be something that would be really cool for all of us.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh,
dive into. But
there's a really old book, and it kind of there's a really old book. I forget if it was Orwell that wrote it, but it was like The Greatest Hunt or something, and it was about a guy taking this journalist or whoever through a safari, and this guy's like really into hunting.
Yes.
You know, and like gets him out to Africa or wherever. He takes him out. They're on the safari, and he's talking about all these hunts and everything. But the whole story is about how the journalist is who this guy's going to be hunting next, and he just kind of lets him go, and he's like, and now, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it was like the greatest game or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of was it's an old story, but that kind of captures what we're talking about here with when you've got these powerful people. Another thing, a friend of mine told me a long time ago, and I'm not sure if he's the one to quote on this, but he says something along the lines of, if you're a millionaire, you can buy anything. If you're a billionaire, you can buy anyone.
Ooh.
And I was like, when you think about that, I'm like, oh damn, that actually.
I mean, that makes total sense. It's just like the guy who owns Oracle, who just bought, like, I don't know who the hell he talked to, but
Larry Ellison.
Yeah, but he bought Lanai, which is one of the 8 islands in Hawaii. So like the island of Lanai is actually his. Like, but I don't even know who he talked to.
Could you even fathom having that much money? I just own part of Hawaii. No big deal.
Right. Yeah. Which, I mean, again, being from there, like the people of, I'm sure the people that are trying to get sovereign hate that shit so much, But whatever. That's another topic too we could bring up.
We should dive into Hawaii sometime for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, but yeah, it just shows you how the world is really easily manipulated. I mean, hell, give me some amounts of money, I might do something. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Because
that's
people are hungry, and it's a sick, sad world out there. So that's my. But.
What were some of the other references that Ricky Gervais made that you think people might have missed?
I mean, those are the main ones. Like I said, the Ronan Farrow one, and I like Keura, right? You were saying that all the big companies. I thought that was just excellent, and I loved how he slipped in. Would y'all have to fly here in your own jets? And referencing Jeffrey Epstein's Lolita Express and his private jet, and then he said, "I know he's your friend." Oh yeah, and then they all booed. I don't care. It was just, wow.
That's
I'm
crazy
thinking
that half the audience was booing. And
there's probably people in that room thinking, how can I kill you? How can we kill you and not make it look like an accident?
Right.
We'll have to wait a little
probably,
bit. We'll have to wait a little bit. We'll have to wait a little bit. Let everything
10
calm
years
down.
from now, it'd be a weird Robin Williams thing,
Oh my God.
I'm sure there was some very rich people in that room who were very uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Well, because they're not typically put on blast either. People usually shut their mouths. Like, that's the best part about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought he did a fantastic job, and it was a great night for free speech. Joaquin Phoenix, he went off and did his little thing. Michelle, I don't know, Williams is her name. She went off and did her little thing with her.
Was she the one that we talked about the whole abortion issue?
Yeah. I mean, it's not. I don't agree with her, but that's her business, and then there was an Arab Muslim actor won, and he thanked Allah, so everybody did their own thing. So it was a great night of free speech, and I would that for me was refreshing. Like, okay, good, have a little fun with it. Get a little snippet of time, a little window. Get your little thing out there. Even though Ricky said not to do it, but it was. I think
that was the greatest thing. It was like some of these people are like, "Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do, Ricky." That was. It was an interesting night.
So it was a good night it was entertaining, and it was a good night of thought-provoking.
I hope they bring him back.
Entertainment. Yeah.
Why was that his last time hosting that the Golden Globes? Is it because of what he said? Or?
Look, I think he's saying that, but I don't think it's actually. You know what? Maybe if he didn't say it was his last time or didn't go out with a bang, they probably wouldn't have brought him back. But I think, from what I'm seeing just through your guys' expressions about everything, he's probably going to be asked to come back and probably get paid more. And he's going to do the same.
Hell yeah!
He's going to be doing the same shit. So honestly, he's playing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't hate the game, hate the player, right?
I think they're going to bring it back. I don't think I went back and listened to his other monologues, and he said the same stuff in 2016. He was like, "This is my last time I'm doing this. I'm not coming back." You know, all this kind of stuff. So I went back and listened to all of his stuff, and it was like, yeah, he did it in 2010, 2011, 2012. So he did 3 years in a row, right? So they love him. They love him. Right?
Yeah.
I think in 2012, with there was a Mel Gibson thing where he kind of went at Mel Gibson pretty harsh a little bit, and so then they had to kind of like, all right, well, you can't do that, and you know,
single out somebody or something.
Yeah, something like that. So they brought him back in 2016. He did the same thing.
Then he singled out everybody, and then it was okay.
Well, when they brought him back in 2016, he let loose, and he was just a wild cannon, and then they let somebody, you know, they didn't bring him back for a while, and they brought him back this time, and he was even better. You know, this just kept getting better and better. So it could be a whole. They're trying to snag reviews. You know,
I mean,
and views, and So I don't know.
I think I'm not 100% sure. You guys could look it up. You don't have to look it up, but I think a lot of the ratings for a lot of the award shows have been going down in recent years. So this may have helped. You know, I'm thinking the Academy Awards is going to do good this year I think it's in a week from today, maybe. I'm thinking or 2 weeks from today. Super Bowl's a week.
I was gonna say. Super Bowl.
2 weeks from today, I think, is the Academy Awards. I think because of the Joker for one thing, but I think So I mean, obviously ratings are important too. So you know, hopefully they get some good ratings with him, and we'll see what happens. I think Amy Poehler and Tina Fey are coming back next year. Is what they're saying. Of course, they could change that.
He made a joke, I think it was in 2016, about Amy and Tina doing in the Golden Globes. And he was making a joke about men's and women's equal pay or whatever. And he said something, he was cracking some joke about how, you know, they got paid the same as I did. It's not my fault they decided to split it. You know, and so it's pretty funny. So,
wow. So this could segue right into Jeffrey Epstein if we want to go down that dark.
Yeah, let's go.
Hop
on that
path. It's really been the hot button topic for the last few months, and I'm so happy to see people are not letting it go.
Yeah.
You know, and I hope this continues until we really get some answers. You know, I think so. So what I remember seeing is the security guards were told to leave.
I have information about that if you wanted me.
Yeah,
I actually have a whole summary of what happened. I don't have to read all this here, but
no, go for it.
Okay, so he was placed on suicide watch. He was put into an observation cell, which included a lot of windows, and any of the devices that could be used for him to harm himself or kill himself were reportedly taken away. And then he was removed from suicide watch after 6 days following a psychiatric examination. However, there are multiple sources that have reported that he was taken off of suicide watch after claiming that it was his cellmate, I can't even say his cellmate's last name, Tartalagoni.
We'll go with that.
Roughed him up. So Jeffrey Epstein had said that he had his cellmate had roughed him up, and then he was transferred to a special housing unit where he was supposed to have a cellmate and be checked up on every 30 minutes. And this is kind of what everybody knows too. Tova Noel and Michael Thomas, the prison guards, were charged with failing to check on him every 30 minutes because they were supposed to. Mm-hmm. And later on it was discovered that they were falsifying information on documents that stated that he was checked up on every 30 minutes. Mm. So that is pretty sketchy. And then in addition, he was reportedly depositing money into other prisoners' accounts to try and gain their favor or buy protection. And then on August 8th, Epstein signed his final will. Too. The signing of this will was witnessed by the two attorneys that knew him, which I find kind of weird as well. He just knows everybody, it seems. It's how he got away with it, or how he was murdered. And then I also have down the video of his first suicide attempt in July 2019 was deleted because of an apparent jailhouse computer error that had occurred ironically about the same time Jeffrey Epstein tried to kill himself, which is strange. Yeah. And then a lawyer for Epstein's former cellmate had stated that it was deeply troubling to find out that the footage no longer exists. And that lawyer, his name was Bruce Barkett, has been trying to obtain that video since the attempt happened in July and still has not found that video because it was deleted. So
a lot of people should get fired.
Yes.
First. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, no one gets fired here. That's that's a clear sign of foul play.
Yeah, why hasn't anybody been fired is my question. Like, why
Yeah.
hasn't anybody really been investigated, it seems? Like, there's not really a lot of information about that.
It's a little bit strange. I also heard, I don't know if you have any information on this, I also heard that there were different autopsies done on the body, and some of them were claiming that there was a struggle involved, which
I don't have information written down, but I did look up some of the information, like the marks on his neck and all of that.
There was different autopsies done, and they were kind of claiming that the original autopsies were falsified.
Yeah, it just looked very set up, is what they said. Like, just the marks that were on his neck, like, it couldn't have been a suicide, just the way it was, like, done. Yeah.
Like the bruising around the neck or whatever.
Yeah, it was very, like almost
something like it was snapped, wasn't it? His neck? I don't know. I thought I read something. And
I'm not sure about that.
That went out the door.
In and out.
Yeah.
I mean, he was screwing around with some very powerful people. I mean, definitely, like, I do believe the Clintons are who was messing around with, and that's something, that's dangerous to mess around with. That's, they're known for a lot of things, and I do believe they're behind a lot of it,
Yeah, me too. I was looking some stuff up about, like, the Clinton body count and all that kind of stuff, and how they could have been involved. And
the funny thing, it's not Bill, it's Hillary, I think,
Yeah, no, I agree.
Bill's too likable.
Ask Monica.
Oh, God.
Yeah, if it was Bill, Monica would be, 6 feet
under.
Right? And no one would know about it.
That's definitely I saw like a meme where I was talking about it. I'm ashamed how I used to hate these people back when I was younger. And it was like Monica Lewinsky was just a young girl who was just trying to,
rise to the top.
Rise to the top. Yeah. It was like,
started at the bottom, now here.
Yeah, exactly. If you think about it, be like, get paid more money if I suck this man's dick? Be like, fuck yeah.
If you can lay your head down at night, who cares? Good for her.
Even when she got caught, she still probably got some, deals
she wrote
or something.
A book or something.
Yeah, exactly. She got something out of it.
Book deal.
Absolutely.
There you go.
For sure. So, but yeah, I'm surprised she's not dead.
That's what I was saying. I was joking about it, but I'm like, well, that's probably what you're right. You hit the nail on the head. Because if Bill was behind it all, she'd be dead. She'd be dead, dude. So, there you go. It is probably Hillary.
Yeah. I just want to say, being the commander-in-chief, being the leader of the free world, it's a lot of pressure, okay?
Bill, we got Bill here.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how did he get in here?
Yeah. I mean, I get it, You're built on a lot of pressure, and you're like,
you gotta let the pressure
Dave
out.
Chappelle did a good job where he runs out of there. You get in here! It's like, because he was saying like how Monica Lewinsky wasn't really pretty. He's like, he just basically walked out of the whole office and was like, you come in here. He's like,
need a warm mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, there was something actually about Jeffrey Epstein with Bill Clinton. I guess when they investigated his house, they found some like weird art that was in his house, and there was a picture of, I believe, Bill Clinton like laying down, like pretty much naked, like painted. Like on a chair and like some weird objects around him, like just this big old canvas picture.
Bill, I want to paint you like my French women.
Isn't that strange? Hold on.
Paint me like one of your French girls, Jeff.
Oh my God.
I believe if you Google it, you can find it.
Dude.
I don't.
God.
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't.
Jeez. Man, oh man. I want to get that painting. I'll hang it up. Same thing with like the Burt Reynolds one where he's like on the like naked next to the fire with like the bear rug. Ever seen that one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Or the who is it? Costanza from Seinfeld. He's got that one.
George Costanza.
Yep.
Oh God. Well, there's a lot to say about Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, and this could get into some pretty heavy-duty, serious stuff. We're getting kind of
That's what we're here for.
getting kind of lighthearted there, but yeah, I mean, this is some serious stuff. I mean, the thing that makes me really mad, and I don't know if any of you thought of this, and I'm sure a lot of people out there listening have thought of this, is that okay? So now this is. Just follow me, people, whoever's listening out there, okay? Because in our world now, it's very sad. We have, like, Trump haters, and we got Trump lovers. Well, maybe there's some people who could be a little bit of both, or somewhere indifferent. Maybe we don't have to be one or the other.
I think most people sit there. I think there's a loud minority on both sides of the spectrum at the far ends, but most people are moderate. We're all just too busy watching Netflix and ordering things on Amazon.
Yeah.
And you're probably right, son. Fat and happy is the old expression. I hope that's wrong, but and how ironic with the computers now, all that information is more readily available if you want to find something out about anything, and yet people probably just want to go to self-gratification and entertainment and sports and porn. There you go.
Porn.
There you go. So,
It's true.
or Ricky Gervais at the Golden Globes, but this Jeffrey Epstein thing, it is pretty big. And when I look at where we're at right now, we got an impeachment trial going on. Before this, there was a Russian investigation, and I just really look at the Democrats. And by the way, you Trump lovers, just stay on here. I'm going to come back and get you too. But really just mad at the Democrats to just show you what scum they are, because they had a Russian investigation, and now they got this Ukraine investigation. They're trying to impeach the president over. Like, okay, this whole freaking time has been Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, and what I'm saying is a lot of people, need to understand this guy was connected to lots of people, Democrats, Republicans, all kinds of high-powered, super rich people, including royalty, including Prince Andrew, who Ricky Gervais also referenced, and a lot of high-powered Wall Street people who are billionaires, and this cuts across all kind of party lines. But he was also connected to Donald J. Trump, our current president of the United States. There's video footage. You can go find it on YouTube. Them hanging out together in the early 90s. Then the Donald's eyebrows hadn't been done yet. And boy, he's got a weird look to him. He likes to rip on everybody's looks. Well, if you dish it out, you better be able to take it, buddy. Oh, his eyebrows look bizarre. If you ever look at these old YouTube, put in Trump and Epstein, and
Trump's eyebrows.
and they're at this party together. You can find this on YouTube. At least it was on there. They're at this party together, and it's like Trump being Trump. He wants all this attention. Okay. On one hand, and then and Epstein's there, and Epstein's kind of looking at him. You almost give him that look like, "What's NBC doing here? Why do you got these cameras here, man? We're here to get down. We're not here to." It's on camera.
14-year-olds in the other room. What are you doing, man?
He gives them kind of a look, And this is all from the early '90s, and so Trump, Trump has, did hang out with the guy. There are accusations, and again, we don't know what's true. Some people say those two and 15 or 20 women was one occasion they, allegedly, but that's in somebody's book and they're trying to sell books. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but they did know each other. And Donald Trump is also publicly, I don't know when this speech was done, I'll have to look this up. He actually says somewhere in there, in reference to Jeffrey Epstein, oh yeah, he hangs out with a lot of girls. He likes the young ones. He references young or youth somewhere. I'm paraphrasing right now.
So that means Trump probably knows about some of the corruption behind it.
Exactly.
Whether or not he took part in it, he knows something.
We don't know.
He knows something. And that could be
but
major.
But the point is, that may be the real investigation. So my whole point coming full circle is they wasted all this time on this Russia stuff, which no one ever speaks the truth. If you believe, or people are listening out there right now, if you believe all that stupid Democrat, Rachel Maddow, Russia crap. Well, then say it properly. Say the Barack Obama administration with the CIA, NSA, DIA, FBI. I don't know how many intelligence organizations there are. There's probably over 15 that they all failed, even though they are all given budgets that way outspend the Russians. Okay, if that's true, that's a much bigger problem. If our counter cyber intelligence, our counterintelligence, our counter espionage is failing against people who have less resources than us, because what, Rachel Maddow, say it, they're better. Say it, they're better. This is the problem, but they never speak to speak. They go, well, there's a back channel. Well, there's Russians to a back channel. I don't know what a back channel is, but I'm going to keep saying it because the other person before me said back channel, and they make 6 figures. And I want to make 6 figures. So there's a back channel. Russians to a back channel through Facebook, and they brainwash everywhere with Facebook. And these false Facebook ads confused Americans. And, I mean, it's just so stupid. But the whole time, Epstein's been there. The whole time. This goes way back. Way back. He first got busted like 10 years ago in Florida. And he was given house arrest. And you guys can look all this stuff up. And then here he gets out, and then more accusations come out. And here we are today with a silly Ukraine thing to impeach the president. I know now it sounds like I'm defending him. And again, where is the Epstein? This is early 2020. Everybody listen out there. I'll get off my rant here in just a sec. But we're I know I'm going long, but he's where are we with Epstein? Does anybody know? I'm not trying to challenge our little panel here, but this should be in the news. My point is every day. Where are we at? Yeah. Where is Ghislaine? I don't know if I'm saying her name. Maxwell. Okay, Ghislaine Maxwell was his sort of partner in crime, his one-time girlfriend. And then she sort of became his madam or recruiting these young girls, right? Right, Keura?
Yep.
Okay.
Pimp.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly.
Bottom bitch.
I mean, where is she? Is she behind bars? And then her well-being is something to question. And a lot of people don't know a lot about her, and people should look into her. Her daddy was at one point, he's gone now, but Robert Maxwell was a super rich media mogul over in England, I think. And it's fascinating for me because I am, those listening out there, I am a full-blown cuckoo, okay? Because everybody thinks, you're a conspiracy theorist, tinfoil hat. Well, this is an interesting one, folks, because Lyndon LaRouche, he's dead now, but he was a big, kooky conspiracy guy for many years in the 1970s and 1980s. I forget when he died, maybe 10, 15 years ago. And I didn't always agree with Lyndon, by the way. So as people listening right now, I'm not a LaRouche because they were kind of like a little cult all around this guy. And he was more a left-leaning guy. I'm actually more of a right-leaning guy. But anyway, he, in a lot of his conspiratorial literature and some of the writers for books that his group promoted, they actually ripped on Robert Maxwell for many years, and they claimed that Robert Maxwell, through British intelligence and connected to American intelligence, CIA, connected to Israeli Mossad, had sort of a triangular relationship. And why do I bring it up now? We don't have to go down too far down this. I know we got to wrap things up here in a little bit, in about 10 minutes or so. But because some people think that Jeffrey Epstein may have actually been Mossad or some other kind of asset for our own CIA. Maybe he was doing this sort of illegal prostitution ring with powerful people to get dirt on them. I mean, who knows if there's videos out there that exist?
That's a nice little catch-22 on that one. That's could be very possible. I mean, our government's known to do shit like that, especially with back in the 80s with narcos and everything. So. Or I mean, even now, even with Libya and all that stuff. So it's just, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
You fucking nut. No, I'm just joking. Dons can't look up. I was just like.
Yeah. No, but to get back to your point about how the Democrats have kind of failed on this, I think that's a great point. I don't think anybody who's moderate Democrat is going to disagree with you on that. And I think, and a lot of my liberal friends are jumping on the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing too. This is a guy who is connected to the super rich, the 1%, all these Wall Street tycoons and rich politicians. Yeah. So it's like, if you care, if the Democrat wants to stand for the common man, and the working class and the middle class and all that kind of stuff, it's like, yeah, everyone should be all over this, right. Especially on the political spectrum.
Well, because he was a financial advisor or something, or had his own,
or a lawyer or something.
No, he had his own
advisor.
I think he was a financial advisor, or he was a banker basically. He was a banker, and he had his own company. So who was associated with him? What were these transactions purpose for? You're right. I mean, it should be something that's got to be dove into deeper than that, because money trails lead to things too, I'm sure you'd be helping out with somebody, or there's some sort of connection, like why is there certain accounts going to Panama or what, all these places that don't give a shit about, taxes or what their money's for. They just want to hold on to their money because they make money off of it. So, yeah, definitely. I am scared about, the only thing I am scared about the whole impeachment thing, I don't want Pence to be...
It's worse. Yeah.
I mean, this impeachment, I don't know.
Do you think that's actually going to happen, though?
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think it's going to drag out long enough where he might just get over the hill and then, might be someone else gets elected. But, I mean, if it does happen, I don't know.
Because really, don't you think the impeachment will run until the next election?
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't think it's going to finish before then. So what, he gets impeached, okay, we vote someone new into office? Or...
Well, no. Well, if he gets impeached, it'll be Pence. Wouldn't it be Pence for,
I guess I think he'll become the acting president, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
For a blip.
Wolf.
Yeah.
But then we have the
that's
election.
Wolf. Wolf. I don't know. I mean, this... I forget where he's from, but he's a really cute Indiana. Okay.
Oh yeah, no.
Well, I mean, no. Just have you ever heard his views on things?
Fuck Indiana.
Sorry.
What do we got against Indiana?
Wow. No, it's the views expressed by some on the panel.
They not reflect the whole.
I've got nothing against Indiana.
I'm just kidding.
But that's what I'm worried about. But then also at the same time, it's funny. I was telling people this is what I think of Trump. I don't think he's the best president, but at the same time, I hate the fact that he goes through everything through Twitter. The same social media thing where a kid could go be like, I got my first boner today, and then here's Trump talking about China, China's trade deal or whatever, and not even talking to his cabinet before he posts something, and he makes himself look stupid, which makes our country look stupid in general.
Yeah.
But I think he does it so much, and I think other, higher, leaders from different countries kind of know, you made your bed, now sleep in it, deal with it for the next 4 years. But that's my whole view with the whole Trump stuff.
Well, maybe we can end on let's end on this topic a little bit, and maybe it'll stretch a little long, and we can cut ourselves off somewhere. But how everybody go around? What do you think led to the popularity of Trump? How does somebody who is able to make these stupid tweets, right? Who was on the WWE at one point? Okay? This guy,
Home Alone.
This guy had a TV. He's best known for "You Fired."
You
Right?
fired.
This guy is right now. He's been our president for almost 4 years. Okay.
Yeah.
How does that happen? Where does that even come?
I can start this one out.
Yeah, go for it.
So Trump, how did he become our president? Was that the question? What was the question?
Yeah.
Yes. How does someone like him become so popular that people voted him in?
I think people looked for change. And people were like, he's a businessman. He's made billions. He's done this. He's done that. Maybe he's what we need instead of a politician. I think that's the biggest thing. And we had Hillary or frickin' Trump. I don't know. Where do you... Let's just take a try. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
See what happens. Maybe it was America's biggest fuck up, but who cares? It'll be a good story to tell one day.
I think either way, the way how things, honestly, because I remember that was, it's kind of sad to say, that's the first time I voted, and I honestly, I don't even know.
Do a blind pick.
That's pretty much, it's just fuck it, dude. Cover your eyes and throw the dart, and yeah, dude, that was a rough one, because it's okay. Yeah, that's what it really comes down to. But you're right. I think you're totally right. People want to change, and I guess the idea of maybe a businessman would be great, but at the same time, maybe not such of a kooky businessman.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
especially
maybe an Andrew Yang. Maybe.
Dude, you want to be a Yang gang? No.
Okay.
I mean,
we can dive into him sometime.
Yeah. Next time. But
what do you think, Keura?
I think the same thing. I mean, I think we probably just, because this was my first time voting, and it was really hard for me. I had grandparents that were very pro-Trump, and then I had my dad and my mom that were like, oh, Hillary. So for me, it was also just I had no clue, but I don't know. I just think that also people know who Trump is. They know that he's a successful dude, and maybe that's just, how the decision was made. People thought maybe he could do something that's not business. I don't know.
Well, I think you guys all hit it on the head here pretty much, especially Sarah. I mean, I want to say there's so many people that think that a lot of people voted for Trump, and technically they did, but they really voted against Hillary. And they really also did, and like you were saying, Sarah, they did a what the heck. I mean, I really believe it was a what the heck vote. So his re-election chances, I don't know if they're so strong. It really depends on the economy. If this economy turns down, it really is up for grabs. Even though the Democrats don't look very strong right now, and nobody's really ahead of the leader of the pack right now. And I just want to say to the Trump haters out there, especially to the dumb Democrats who really make me upset, you did this. This is your fault. If Joe Biden was the candidate last time, history tells us Joe Biden would have won. It's just a simple fact. Think Daddy Bush, 1988. In other words, Iran-Contra was a big controversy, but the economy was so red hot in 1988. I know some people in this room weren't even born then, but
I'm 88 representative.
But it was so hot that nobody cared, and Daddy Bush just came out and lied and said, "Read my lips, no new taxes," and that was it. Michael Dukakis was done, game over. I mean, it was that simple. And Al Gore really did win in 2000. The Bush people actually stole that election in Florida from him. But so that's the point. When you have a vice president who takes over, and if the economy's good, Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter, they're going to win. But Biden didn't run because the money was behind Hillary. And again, these Democrats, we're for the little people. Yeah, fuck you. No, you're not.
Oh,
you
Dad said that for you.
You kids warmed me up to that. So I was like, I'm not going to swear. I'll let the young people swear. Like, okay, I'm going for it. All right.
Sorry, I have no filter. So
I think 2016 was really good. And I think if you're listening right now, I hope you keep listening to this forum, because it's forums like this where you're going to have real free speech and you're going to hear real things. And just to sum it up real quick, so again, Democrats, you blew it. You hate Trump. It's your fault. That's why he's there. I think, though, and by the way, this isn't a thing against women. This is against Hillary, Diane, Rodham, Clinton. People didn't want her. If you want proof, Democrats, you dumbass Democrats, 2008. What happened? It was supposed to be her year. All of a sudden, this young upstart, nobody knew who the hell he was. Only people in Illinois did, named Barack Obama. And he just came out of nowhere. And they had a very bitter battle, and he won the nomination in 2008. If people would have loved her, and it would have been her time, then Barack Obama would not have won the nomination and ultimately the presidency in 2008. That proves it right there. There was no Trump involved there, okay? Mm-hmm. That just proves it. They didn't like her. What people got to remember about the 2016 election was so special, too. People knew these fuckers. I mean, think about that. People knew these people. You're like, what did you just say? Well, think about it. People knew Trump, like you were saying, since the late 80s or early 90s. He's all these different places he showed up because he's just a media whore. He's like, give me attention. I can't do him, but give me attention. And then they knew Hillary since 1992 when she became First Lady. Mm-hmm. Whereas you think a lot of other presidents, they just kind of come out of nowhere. And they're known for maybe like a year and a half, and then people will fall in love with them and they become president, So it was really a different year. But in the end, ladies and gentlemen, here's the sad news. Who won? Goldman Sachs. They win either way. Goldman Sachs was behind Hillary. Goldman Sachs, that's the thing with Trump. All these people at MSNBC and CNN, they never ask him, Mr. President, you said you're going to get rid of the swamp. You brought in a Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, also from Goldman. Had Hillary won, she would have brought someone in from Goldman, right, Mr. President? No one's ever said that. So this is where a guy like me, just a little simpleton out here goes, why? No one talks about that.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of things that, I think one of the heavy hitter topics that we can dive into another time is the national debt. And I think that's probably, no matter what the media tries to tell you, is the biggest crisis of our time. And under his presidency, he's been signing $1 trillion deficit bill after $1 trillion deficit bill every year. And we're going further into the national debt, and every year he's like, I'm not going to sign it. And then what was the first thing he did when he got into office? Yeah. He had a huge tax break. That affected, disproportionately affected the rich. Right. Disproportionately affected people that held stocks, people on Wall Street. It helped the little guy. It helped everybody else out a little bit, but not proportionally enough to the rich, right? So the first thing he does as a Republican, as a conservative, is this big tax break when we're in all this national debt, right? And then he signs $1 trillion deficit after $1 trillion deficit. And it's like, Okay, so
And
do
they
you want
increase
your
the military
socialism?
spending,
Do you
too.
want your
Yeah.
socialism Democrat flavor
Yeah, there
or
you go.
Republican
There
flavor?
you go.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like everybody who thinks Trump is this messiah. It's like
No.
you're voting, you're praising socialism, right? It's just a different flavor, man. Don't sit there and give me your whole America, we're patriots and
Make it great
liberty.
again.
It's like make America great again. It's like no, how to make America more socialist and in an empirical way, in all for war and imperialism and anti-immigration and everything. It's like this is your weird flavor of socialism, This is where it's like I would prefer a democratic socialism over what we got right now. I'm not a socialist, but I would prefer it. So, all right, that's gonna be all for today. Join us next time. Maybe we'll jump right back into the Trump talk and everything. So, all right, thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.